Welcome to Master the Game. I am Juice, and today I want to talk about world building. But before I jump into that, I just want to mention that recently, Master the Game has become affiliated with World Anvil. World Anvil is an amazing website where you can go and keep track of your campaigns, your homebrew worlds, and all of that. I've been using it now for a very short amount of time, and I cannot begin to express how awesome it is. I've started putting in the timeline of the history of my world. I've put in a couple of the regions where my different campaigns are taking place. And it's all neat, organized. I can find things quickly. I've even made a page for my homebrew world with my house rules. And so it's something I've let my players see while doing character creation. It's fantastic. I can't rave about it enough. If you're interested in checking it out, go down. I have a link in the description below. You can go sign up, start creating your own world. So anyways, with that in mind, I just wanted to start talking about the Pantheons of gods. And I have had a discussion on my Discord, which again, the link to that is below. But we were talking recently about how to make your Pantheon matter. This is something that too often is just kind of, ignored in a lot of games. I've played in a lot of games where, you've got a cleric of, say it's a life cleric, and you've got this paladin over here, and, you've got all these different characters that, pretend to be holy, but you never learn about their deity in the game. Players don't tend to give you very much. Even dungeon masters don't tend to give you a lot. Now, this doesn't go for all dungeon masters. There's some great dungeon masters out there who tend to give you a little bit here and there. But I just wanted to break down some tips that I've come across and that we're discussing in my Discord. So tip number one, if you find as a player or a DM that the game just lacks substance when it comes to your deities and your pantheons in your world, then take some initiative. So if you're a player, work with your DM. Say, hey, I want a deity that's like this. Do you have one like this in your world? If they say yes, ask them how rigid they are on it. If they aren't very rigid and they say, do what you want with it, make it your own, then own it, right? Start role-playing, praying or reading holy text or tying things, some of your mundane items to this deity. For example, maybe you have a trinket that could be symbolic of something from your deity. And doing things like this will also help other players say, oh, that's interesting. Maybe my character would do something like that as well. Maybe you have a broken blade as your trinket, and your deity is the god of war, and maybe there's a story that goes along with it. So any soldier who carries a broken blade on him, it serves as good luck. It's something real small. But now, you could have some good role play about this great battle and why this trinket is so important to your character and why he hangs on to it. Something so small could be so big in the grand scheme of things when it comes to role playing. Something else, if you're the DM, make story quests that maybe it's not centered around a deity, but sprinkle things in about that specific deity you want the players to learn about. Maybe it's an evil deity, right? And maybe he is behind the, plague that's going on. So, you have the characters in this dungeon and they see this column that has etchings in it all about this plague and likens it to a plague from the past that this deity had caused. Start tying things currently to this. Make the players feel personally affected by this deity in your world. Things like that can make the players have a huge investment in your deities. You'll find if you do things like this, eventually your players will say, oh, I really liked that deity, when you play another campaign. I really like that deity. I remember he had this and this and this, and my character, that would fit perfect for him. So I'm going to choose him. And then again, now you've created the investment for future campaigns. So, these are just a couple little small things, but I think the big part about it, especially as a dungeon master or a game master, is the players need to feel like it matters. You know, obviously their abilities and powers are going to work. You know, you're not going to restrict them like, oh, well, you didn't role play enough praying to your deity, so your spells don't work today. You know what I mean? That's lame. So you want to make them feel invested in these deities, just like you would want them to feel invested with NPCs or even, you know, the other players in the party. You want them to feel a connection. And the only way to do that is to give them reasons, give them story, give them an impact, make them have an impact. So those are just the two quick things I wanted to cover in this video. If you have some ideas on how to make your pantheons or deities matter, please post that in the comments below. Be sure to share this with, you know, your dungeon masters and game masters that you think aren't giving enough focus to the deities. And maybe even some of your players who are playing a holy character or a religious character and they're not playing up their deity as much. Make sure you leave a like if you like this video and smash that subscribe button if this is your first time. This was Master the Game. I am Juice. Game on.